Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Mind your business. Only on Money FM 89.3.
Thanks for joining us on The Breakfast Show. It's Audrey Seek here with you on Mind Your Business today. Now, when you think of Marina Bay Sands, what are the first things that come to mind? It might be that sky-high infinity pool, the fancy stores, or that iconic skyline. But behind the glitz and the glamour, there's a serious mission underway, one that's all about making luxury more sustainable. And as the pressure mounts globally for stronger climate action, the hospitality industry isn't just being asked to keep up, it's being asked to lead. And Marina Bay Sands is stepping up to that challenge with bold ambition. They've just released their 2024 Responsible Business Report, and it's a detailed look into how the integrated resort is rethinking everything from energy and food waste to how it supports communities and drives innovation. So who better to walk us through all of this than Roger Simons, Director of Sustainability at Marina Bay Sands. He's at the heart of this transformation, helping one of Asia's most recognizable landmarks lead by example. Roger, great to have you with us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
So great to have you on. So let's kick things off by asking you to paint us a bit of a picture here. What does sustainability actually look like at a place like MBS? How do you make sure it's not just a checklist, but really embedded into how you guys operate day to day?
Yeah, we're very lucky that sustainability was embedded in the actual architecture and the fabric of the building since we built it in 2010. So there's a lot that's visible in terms of sustainability if you know where to look, and other things that are more behind the scenes. So, for example, you might step into our mall, our shops, and you'll see there's a lot of natural daylight coming through because it's all glass. And that allows us to save and reduce energy for lighting, but it's also combined with very intuitive shading, which reduces the heat gain in that part of the building as well. And then we have 125,000 sensors around the building which are tracking energy, water, and the air quality at any given time. And then looking at the building, you might see some of our striking art pieces which actually serve a sustainability function as well. So one of my favorite pieces is what's called the Wind Arbor, which goes across the whole bottom of Marina Bay Sands. It's 160,000 aluminium flaps on a steel mesh that looks a little bit like fish scales, or like I like to think of it as a field of wheat.
I think I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a kinetic art sculpture, so it interacts with wind and the rain. But what it's also doing is actually shading the building, and it's giving us some cooling benefit in those areas as well. So there's a lot of that thinking behind it. We're lucky to have welcomed 500 million visitors to Marina Bay Sands since opening, and we have close to 12,000 employees. So with that comes an environmental footprint, and we've dedicated a lot of time, energy, and resources in doing as much as we can to be a pioneer in this space.
Yeah, wow. Even the art is sustainable in MBS. And, you've just launched also the Responsible Business Report 2024, or quite recently. So for our listeners who, of course, may not be too familiar, what are some of the biggest takeaways from this report that you guys have found? And what should we really understand about how MBS is evolving here?
Yeah, so the Responsible Business Report is our annual year in review. It's our ESG report covering our environmental, social, and governance performance. And 2024's theme was Luxury with Purpose. And so we're trying to demonstrate how luxury and sustainability can be combined. We've had a really transformative year of property upgrades, and we're really trying to showcase how we're supporting the Singapore Green Plan and paving the way for regenerative tourism. I think some of the key figures from the report last year would be that we've managed to reduce our carbon emissions by nearly 20% in the past decade, which has taken tremendous resources and effort. Our sustainable seafood is now at 52% across the property, and we've managed to add some really good certifications in the past year as well. The ISO 14001, which is the world's leading environmental management system standard. And our Rise restaurant was recently awarded the Farm to Table recognition program from Singapore Food Agency. So it goes across everything that we're doing.
Okay, yeah, but that's not always easy in a high-end kind of setting, right? You're pushing for what you call responsible luxury. Can you tell us more about other goals like reducing food waste and improving circularity within MBS?
Yeah, food waste has been an area we've been focusing on for a number of years. We actually invested in 5 aerobic waste digesters that work like a human stomach over a decade ago now. And that's helped us, along with other technology like a waste master, which actually turns the food waste into a nutrient-rich substrate, it looks and smells like a soil. And what we're doing with that is turning it into fish pellets with a partner, and that's going to an aquaculture farm in Singapore. The fish are doing their business, and their output becomes really good fertilizer for growing plants in Singapore. And then we have a third technology, which is called a dewater and grinder, and that's helping us also to reduce the food waste volume by about 50%. And the output of that is going to a black soldier fly farm. We're feeding the larvae of the soldier flies. They're doing their business, and the output, which is called frass, from those insects is then used to fertilize plants growing here in Singapore. So these are really great circular solutions where we're taking the food waste and doing something really productive with it. So last year we managed to divert about 65% of our food waste across property, which is 12,000 kilograms. And over the last decade, that's helped us divert nearly 10 million kilograms of food waste. So we've put tremendous effort and resources in to pioneer this space.
Wow, fantastic. Now let's talk tech. How is Marina Bay Sands using data and AI to improve sustainability efforts? Are we talking real-time optimization, predictive analytics? What's in the toolkit here?
Yes, I think data is really, really important. There's this old business cliche that you can't manage what you don't measure, and it's a bit corny, but it's really true. So the more data that you get, the more you want more data, more granular data going down into different parts of the business and understanding where the source of emissions or waste or whatever it is you're trying to track across the business. So we have what we call an intelligent building management system. We have 125,000 sensors across the building which are tracking air, water, and energy usage. And if you can imagine how much data is coming out of that every second, every hour, every day, it's a huge volume of data. So we have an analytics platform which is filtering through all that data. Of course, we have to train it and what's important, what needs to be flagged for human intervention, and it does that. And then we're able to address problems and see where hotspots are around the business. Then we have things like our AI weighing machines for food waste. And this is a really cool technology. You put a tray or a bin of food waste in front of it. It will take a photo of the substance. We've trained it on what the menu is for that restaurant or that kitchen. It knows the ingredients and it knows the value of the ingredients as well. So it can take a picture. It will tell you this is how much it weighs, this is what the dish is, and this is how much money you're throwing away. So you're getting different kind of metrics from that, and it helps us then look upstream, look at the menu, look at the portions, look at what we're ordering, and reduce it at source, which is reducing our overall food waste volume. And we've found that this is so popular that we've actually rolled out a mobile AI weighing machine for our convention center as well, so that we can accurately track food waste from different events per room.
Wow. Okay. So a lot going into food waste and tackling that issue. That's a big challenge in hospitality, especially at this kind of scale. One area that really stood out in the report as well was your approach to sustainable food sourcing. I believe you talked about sustainable seafood earlier. A stronger focus on local ethical suppliers as well. Can you share what that looks like in practice?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a regional sourcing philosophy for quite a while now, where we're focusing on getting a lot of good produce from Southeast Asia and, of course, from Australia, because that gives us good access to dairy and some of the Western vegetables and fruits as well. But we've got a really strong commitment to Singapore's 30 by 30 goals as well. So we are getting things like bean sprouts, eggs, cage-free eggs from Singapore, as well as a number of seafood products. And it was really great that our Rise restaurant got that recognition this year for the farm-to-table cuisine. And of course, seafood has been a big program for us, and we're really proud of the work that we've done within our supply chain, going out to support aquaculture programs with the Worldwide Fund for Nature in Singapore, and really try and transition Southeast Asian aquaculture to more sustainability.
All right. So Singapore's Green Plan 2030, to your point, sets out some ambitious national goals. And it's great to hear that MBS is contributing to that vision. Do you think that the private sector is moving fast enough to keep pace with everything that we're aiming for?
So we're doing a lot to support the Green Plan. I think it's focused on a number of areas, one of them obviously being climate change and emissions. So we were really pleased to launch our low carbon transition plan this year, which actually increased our target to 30% by 2025 to lower our emissions. It used to be 17.5, so it's almost double. And what we're trying to do there is align with the 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming limit set out in the Paris Agreement. So we're trying to go beyond national targets to support international goals, and that's just one example. I can't speak to every industry, but I think the hospitality industry in Singapore, we've got a great community, we've got a great network, we come together, we have a sustainability committee, we have our own roadmap, which has been put together with the help of the Singapore Hotel Association, and of course we partner very closely with the Singapore Tourism Board as well. So we're all working in the right way and in the right direction.
Yeah, so ESG is another area that's drawing more scrutiny than ever, I would say. So it's great to hear that MBS is working with different partners and suppliers. How else are you guys upholding these ethical and sustainability standards?
So we have a strong focus on certifications across the property. I think in today's modern era, so many companies and products will tell you that they're green and sustainable. And I think certifications are a really great way of validating with an external party to sort out the different types of companies, the different types of commitments. So we've had a strong commitment to certifications across the property. They really help us with providing a roadmap for our expectations for our industry as well. And they help ensure that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, so it's great that MBS is leading by example. But of course, not every company has the resources of a Marina Bay Sands, right? Or like a huge luxury hotel. What do you think smaller businesses can take away from your approach here? Any lessons that can kind of scale down?
Yeah, I think don't be intimidated by sustainability. There can be a lot of big words and complicated concepts. It doesn't have to come with a high price tag. So just start small and start today and find the areas where your business is doing well and celebrate that.
Yeah. Okay. So looking ahead, what's next for MBS? Are there any exciting sustainability projects or innovations coming up that you can give us a sneak peek into?
Yes, absolutely. So we've had a really good partnership with the Worldwide Fund for Nature in Singapore, focused on aquaculture for a number of years. And we kind of reached the end of that partnership and we've entered a new one. And this is really looking at our deforestation risks in our supply chain. So it's really quite interesting and quite pioneering for our industry. And we're literally looking at everything that we're purchasing, the key commodities from soy sauce to beef to chocolate, and trying to understand where that product is coming from all the way through the supply chain and what deforestation risks there might be in the country where it's coming from. And so that's quite groundbreaking for us, and I'm really excited to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, me too. And that was a great insider look at how MBS is driving change from the inside out, from reducing food waste to setting new standards for sustainable luxury. It's clear that MBS isn't just keeping up, it's leading the charge for a greener future in hospitality. Roger, it was great having you in the studio today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That was Roger Simons, Director of Sustainability at Marina Bay Sands. You're listening to Money FM 89.3. Stay with us.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.